So you've heard the story. And by all means, tonight is not the night to reiterate the Anunnaki story. Because the one that's published is a total, is basically just a cunningly contrived myth versus what those who know really went on, because those who can read the symbolism know what the symbolism is saying and knows all the history that's also buried within the language. And that's that when the quote unquote creators came to the world, the creators were only cloners. They were not the creators. They were replicators. And there was a reason why they needed to replicate, which we'll get onto in just a minute here. But what this image is that what this tree is in the middle is for sure your DNA. Never question whether or not this is the DNA or not. This is the DNA. And more importantly, this is the tampering or the actual in the hand. Generally in these hands, it's actually scraped off and removed. It kind of looks like fingers. It was a pine cone, and you'll see some of them. It's a pine cone because what a pine cone is it not only can cut, it is also a bulb, and it also is a bud. So these words, even like when you realize who these entities actually were and how they exist across cultures, even Buddha, also known as Sprout or just Bud, who's also Wednesday, who's also Mercury, who's also Thoth, and we've gone through all of that already, that is a direct reference to the process of cloning, the process of replicating. Okay, now this knowledge of replicating, the reason why it's like the biggest, craziest thing in the galaxy, because when you replicate something, you basically create a shadow of it. This is why this place was known as Eve or Hava. It was known as a shade or a shadow world, because it wasn't the real one. It was a replica. It wasn't the truth. It was actually a lie. You couldn't see everything that existed from this space. You actually saw things really as the controllers of the space wanted you to see them. And that's why there's been this huge breakdown right now in society where we're like not sustainable, because there's a huge truth that is not being revealed by a system of control that has harnessed the human bodies to the bitter end, lifetime after lifetime, driving souls psycho by taking them through these courses over and over again as if they're like horses. Basically, where humans, or really angels, that's what humans really are. Angels were basically being created to be ridden. And let me explain this very clearly, because riding is not just some being trying to, let's say, use your body. Well, actually, that is what it is. It's a energy that is not inside. Let me try to put this in the proper context. Let's just rewind here. No, let's just rewind. We're going to go to the tree here and just make sure that everybody understands very clearly that this tree is the DNA. And more importantly, that when you can say, because we have to clear this through etymology, when you can say on a tree, what are some of the most important things on a tree? We have the fruit, of course, but more importantly, I think we have the leaves. Okay, the leaves. And I'm so clear on saying right now, the reason why we call them in English leaves is because the past tense of leave is left, which is like our left hand. And it's the left hand side of the tree that's actually the grafted part of the tree. It's the left side of the DNA that's actually the grafted part of the DNA. Okay? Now, the reason why this evening, this knowledge, it has to be woven like a tapestry, because I can only, through this 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional body, let you see one aspect of it, then move to another side of it, let you see that aspect of it until you start gaining a full picture of exactly what is happening in the reality, because this is the highest level of deprogramming. This is, I don't know, I can't even say years or 1,000 years. I don't know how long humanity has actually been subject to this, because there's no such thing as time. All I can say is that the knowledge and the awareness and the wisdom of this does set the being free. It's an actual wisdom and awareness thing. That's why it says, for the lack of knowledge, my people will perish, because it's an actual wisdom thing that once you know, okay, that the leaves are in themselves. Like if you saw your DNA, they show you the DNA and they show you like these orbs that are on the DNA. So those orbs themselves on the DNA are actually the elements that are used to make up the entire reality. And when they fall off the tree, they're like leaves falling off the tree. And this is what you can then say is what are the fallen? Because they start talking to you about in this mythology that these beings specifically were fallen angels. But if you're trying to identify, but what is a fallen angel or what is a fallen is like on this huge tree of DNA of the cosmos. When something falls off of that, that's these forms of existence. And that's even existence as we know it. It's like a fallen off piece of a tree.